growing up, I was very quiet. I wasn't a popular kid in school, and I wasn't cool. I was a little fella. I grew up a boxer. My dad was a fighter, and so I kind of expressed myself through boxing, and then I didn't really talk. So when you don't really talk, it's really hard to be cool. It's hard to be like a cool kid when you don't talk to nobody. And I'd say the question that's been asked me most of my life is, do you ever talk? Yeah, you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me. Half mud, blood, half mule keg whiskey. Feeling right at home when it all goes south. Chevy truck running my mouth, got a strong southern drawl.
Welcome back to the NBA podcast, where each fortnight or so we explore the side streets and rabbit holes around movies, books, and albums. In this episode, we look at Steven Wilson Jr.'s 2023 debut breakout double album, Son of Dad, where country meets rock, grunge, real life, and everything in between. Enjoy the podcast.
I think we need to get those caps made.
Yes, absolutely.
Or our version of the caps.
Absolutely.
The NBA version with a squid sneakily put somewhere.
Yeah, with a squid in Guadalupe. There must be a Virgin Mary and squid myth somewhere.
Well,
Dave, do you want to introduce your album?
Sure.
I will, thank you. Yeah, so I stumbled upon Steven Wilson Jr., what must have been early 2024, late 2023.
Oh, wow, that's early.
I actually sent you a cover of that Stand By Me, thank you. When I first saw it.
Did you send it to me when you first saw it?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. So I sent it to you in May last year.
Okay.
But yeah, so the way I first found him was through live at the print shop, which was that guy Adam Blank, who's a entrepreneur, started that. Apparently, he actually had his own indie label and started had a few bands signed and basically started this print shop to create merch for these bands that he had signed.
Oh, cool.
Kind of fell through, didn't really take off. And he was left with this print shop, but like that he designed in 70s style and was really cool. And he had this great idea. It's like, what if we actually, it's a perfect spot for live recording, to put in live music. So that's what he started doing. He's had guys like Collective Soul, as I said, Steven Wilson Jr. He's had some very, very cool, intimate artists there. And when I first heard that cover of Stand By Me, obviously, as everyone is, absolutely blown away. So I went to go explore watch that entire live at the print shop sessions with him, and it was, it blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad people are finally coming around to him. He's only really become like famous and more well known purely through viral videos. And I don't think people can go the traditional route of getting pushed on radios and going through all the traditional outlets. And he's basically just gone from word of mouth and video clips. He's obviously got a few music videos now, but the man has exploded over the last year.
Yeah, no, he's completely kind of just gone meteoric out of he's been around for a long time in different guises, but his own kind of success has just kind of really taken off, and good for him. When you hear his story, the more you look at the different interviews, and the one thing I've realized, if you admire someone or you're interested in someone, you probably only have to listen to one podcast because they can only tell their story one way. So, I watched a couple of interviews and I was like, okay, no, I've heard this. And it really comes down to the podcast host or the interviewer, where you get the best part of the story out. And you've got the one picture. But one that was really interesting was his one with George Foreman III. So it's George Foreman's son or grandson, who's got a boxing gym, but he hosts interviews, podcasts in his boxing gym. And obviously there's the boxing connection there with old Steven Wilson Jr. But what was really cool in that was he's wearing an Everclear T-shirt while he's training and during that interview. And he does a cover of Everclear's Santa Monica. I'm not sure whether you heard it. It's an acoustic cover of You'll Know Santa Monica.
Is that in the Blankets album?
I don't know what album. I was just kind of cruising all the different
He did a cover
music.
album. I think it's like four
it's got
songs
Scott Nirvana and a few others. Yeah. But it's like, but that was really cool because like when you listen to his music, you get that same kind of, I think, what was the term we used? That kind of poverty romance that Everclear has. It's got that kind of nostalgic, gritty feel, which comes through.
So can I tell you a very, very cool connection there with Everclear? So obviously you guys would have realized that he's married to Lee Nash from Sixpence.
That blew my mind.
Lead singer of Sixpence None the Richer.
Yes.
Wild. completely
wild.
So they're obviously married, but I went to see what Lee Nash has been up to since Sixpence None the Richer. And she's done some personal solo stuff. One thing she did, I think it was in 2009. She performed with Ed Kowalczyk of Live, the lead singer from Live.
Yes.
And Art Alex, what's his surname? Art from Everclear.
Alexi.
Yeah.
Art Alexis. Yeah, I can't think offhand. Yeah.
They all three of them performed together at this thing called Open Wings, Broken Strings in 2009, like a very stripped down, intimate, raw type of setting, where a lot of your
very, very cool.
Like late 90s, early 2000s singers came together and played like their stripped down hits and songs. Apparently, it was really cool. But I thought that was a great little connection to Everclear there as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, that must have been an amazing concert. And I haven't had time to go look for any video of it or recordings, but that must have been quite special. And, also like linking back to Everclear, I see we've lost Dave. I'm sure he'll jump back on as soon as he can. Is like what we were speaking about, was it cowpunk was the genre that the Easy Hoes were playing, which takes that Western and gives it a bit of edge. And when you look at what old Steven Wilson Jr. is doing, it's kind of in that spirit where he's taking a country Western genre, but he's definitely throwing in heavy grunge and rock influences. And it's kind of crossing the line.
Open Wings, Broken Strings. Very hard to find too much about it online, but I think it was a very small, intimate type of setting that they did. But then you were mentioning how interesting it is because, like, he's country, but he's obviously got a lot of that grunge influence. I mean, two of his biggest influences are Nirvana and Willie Nelson. I mean, that's got to give you such a...
And I think like in third place is Soundgarden.
Depth to work with. Yeah. Yes. Chris Cornell and the other guitarist, I forget his name. Some massive influences.
But he actually sounds a bit like Willie Nelson in one of the tracks. Trying to remember which one it was. But it actually sounds, it could be Willie Nelson singing it.
Really?
It's sort of late in the album. I'm trying to remember which one it is. But at other times he sounds like Ed Kowalczyk. Is it Ed Kowalczyk?
Yeah.
His voice just,
other times Chris Cornell, and musically you can hear some Nirvana, you can hear some Everclear.
I heard Springsteen in there as well. And then he mentions Running Down a Dream, Tom Petty. And so he's got a broad range of people he's drawing from.
Or at least kind of shared influences.
Yeah. I mean, you obviously heard all those, or quite a few of those covers he did. I mean, he did one of Smashing Pumpkins as well, Tonight. But then he went and he covered Temple of the Dogs, Hunger, which is Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder. I mean, like two of the most incredible voices to come out of this world, especially during that time, during that era. And to try and cover a song like that it's a little bit crazy. And he was singing it, and I'm like, is he singing both parts here? Or has he brought Chris Cornell like backing track in? Because it sounds so damn good.
I didn't share that one. I must go listen to it.
Is it Hunger Strike or something?
Hunger Strike, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I've got it on. I did hear it, but I want to re-listen to it. Yeah, I wonder if so I just thought about this now. The fact that he only started at 16. I wonder if he's had all these influences at the right time type thing. You're 16, that's when you're really getting into your music, I guess. I don't know, just maybe timing. 16 was when when we were 16, Thor's, he's the same age as us, this chap.
No, exactly. Yeah, he's like he's a few months younger than us.
Yeah. So just at the right time when he was finishing high school, there was just a hell of a lot going on, and obviously growing up with the country influence as well. Just a perfect sort of storm of all of it, and getting his guitar at 16 when all this
but that's
incredible
late.
grunge is starting. Yeah,
because that's quite late to start guitar, and it's back to the point that like we're the same age as him. He started at 16, I started at 19 or 20, and for a 3-year head start, he's done very well. I'm just comparing my trajectory. So I would about 3 years until I've been playing guitar as long as he has.
You break out.
So it's not over yet. But I wouldn't place any last minute bets. But I think it's also
doesn't have 2 master's degrees, so there.
Yeah, fair enough.
But he does have a microbiology degree, and he was a
scientist.
There is
that.
Yeah. And I think it's that kind of melting pot of, and even in his songs, he's got the one line, and we've spoken about it often. There's a time in your life when music burns you like it never burns you later in life because of everything you're going through. And that 16 period is kind of that time. Plus you've got like kind of his tumultuous life and family story. And also the fact that he's got that science brain mixed with this kind of all those human influences kind of works, because I've met a lot of guys who are engineers, who are maths buffs, who can pick up a guitar, and because of that maths discipline and maths brain, they'll understand and they'll find it a challenge to learn all the different scales, all the different modes, all the different voices, and they'll become technically incredibly proficient. But because they are so very much analytical and scientific, they can never translate it into art. So that they can cover anything,
Soulless.
They can play things, but there's no grit, there's no soul. But then if you've got someone who's got that, plus who's coming through this kind of crucible of life, single dad who you admire, all those other things happening, and you can marry that to, I'm going to sit from the age of 16 with the science part of my brain and just pull all of these things apart. I think that's what we're dealing with when you see him play the guitar. It's just incredible.
It's incredible to watch. Yeah.
And he plays with all those alternate tunings as well, which is just also, which is next level. It's like taking a piano and shuffling all the keys around and playing it in a new way. And lots of guys do it.
Does he do quite a few people do that, or is he quite unique in how he plays it? Or
I'm probably not qualified to speak, but most people will play in a standard tuning. Which I'll insert a sound effect here of a standard tuning, but then he doesn't just use that open tuning. He uses different open tunings for different songs. So I was trying to think of how I would explain it to you guys, and I figured I know a lot about guitar, but I know nothing about golf. So I would use that for maximum confusion when I try and explain it.
Cool. I like it. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm excited.
So most people will use a guitar like a golf club, just because golf clubs, I believe, have different functions, right? They've got different special jobs they do. So if you've got a standard tuning, it does a certain job and you just stick with it and you play. Whereas if you're messing around with lots of tunings like he's doing, his guitar is not a club, it's a golf bag. And every time he's changing the tuning, he's changing what golf club it is, which allows him to play some of the things he plays that you couldn't play.
It's much more multifaceted tool. And
and you get those interesting sounds coming out.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, he's playing a nylon string like that. It's just also, it's like a nylon string is not meant to be played through distortion and like that, which is just cool.
Awesome. Just doing things that no one else can. Well, there's probably a few people, but then marry it to the voice and the vibe and all the rest of it. Did you hear him talking about picking parties?
No.
Picking. What did we discuss? When we were talking about folk singing in the first episode. Hootenannies, exactly. So the picking party must be like a little country and soul, where it's exactly that same sort of thing. It's you all just go around and you pick out a tune on your guitar, pick it up, but not, and then and sing acoustic versions of it. And I think it was
Nice.
one of those where he sung for the first time in front of people
Okay.
that Stand By Me. And
Okay.
everybody said, well, you got to play a song. And he said, I've never done cover songs in my life, never been in a cover band. We always played original. He said, even when I was 16, he said they were rubbish, but we played original stuff. And he said that's the first song he ever sang live in front of people, I think,
Oh,
at a
wow.
pickin' party. But
Okay.
if I remember the interview correctly.
Sounds like a job.
Yeah, I'd love to sit around one of those, just listening to, just picking out tunes, and I would add no value other than pouring whiskey, but
It's an important job.
it is underrated.
It's a very important job.
As long as it's mule kicked whiskey, yeah?
Mule kick whiskey.
Half mud blood, half mule kick whiskey.
Oh, some beautiful lyrics, eh? Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's just some magical turns of phrase, eh? That just kind of, the first time you hear the song, it just kind of catches you and bites you, some of those phrases. I think there's a couple that stand out, but the one for me was like, nobody's hurt, but the house is missing. I mean, what a wonderful line.
Yeah. Life is God is great, life is twisted.
Yeah. Singing about how fucked up everything is. It's like, God is great, life is twisted.
Yeah.
Did you hear in any of the interviews about his mom writing poetry?
Yes.
Did you guys, on scraps of paper and junk mail and things, she just write these little poems and then throw them away.
Yeah. Which in itself is such a poetic kind of image, is kind of looking at that kind of, again, that poverty backdrop, or that not an easy life backdrop. And then when the spam mail comes in, to use those envelopes as the things that you can write your poetry on, but then to throw the poetry away afterwards.
And just throw it away. Because it's probably a rent, it's probably a bill that's 6 months overdue.
Yeah. But then he said he used to emulate her, and then he would write poetry, and then one day he clicked that he's not going to throw it away, he's going to keep it. And that was like also kind of obviously a turning moment, and it's now becoming art and something that's going to grow to something else. It's not just for write and throw away.
Incredible, hey? Yeah, because he said in Indiana growing up, it wasn't Southern Indiana, writing poetry wasn't the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, have you watched any of his music videos?
I watched a little bit of Patches.
I'd like to see that.
No, Patches is great, but there's that one song Cuckoo. So the music video from that is basically, starts off, it's him and a mate flinging basically like a fireball with shovels over fire out in Indiana, like proper hillbillies. And like this guy gets out of a trailer and he has to climb through the back of his car to get in. He has to drive it backwards because it can't drive forwards. And he's like, these aren't actors. These are all people that I know, like from town. He's like, these are real people living real lives. And like, these are the people that he's talking about in this song, in the music video, like they're portraying themselves. It's just
awesome. Wasn't it the same for American Gothic? Real. It was just, it wasn't even actors. It was just, and it wasn't even people he knew. It was just people from the town.
Just people there,
yeah.
But just going back to his songs. The other one you mentioned, guys, Patches. I mean, I think it's like all the stuff he sings is such beautiful storytelling and poetic about his life, what he's lived, what he's gone through. I think what a lot of people he knows are going through. But I mean, that Son of Dad album, with the entire thing being dedicated to his father, he passed away. I think it was 59, and obviously, I mean, like he was, the guy was his hero, his idol, and the whole like driving force behind this album, the music that he's making wasn't fame or fortune, was for him to deal with his grief over losing his father, losing his hero. Yeah. You can hear it in every song.
But and I mean, that's a kind of, again, it's like kind of this like double album, like an honoring of his father, which is just also incredible.
And the way he kind of says that, because he's the junior and he's carrying that name, is that he's like keeping, in some ways, his father's being kept alive, and he keeps on talking about how
Yeah.
music is magic, and in some ways, by performing the magic on this side, it kind of thins the wall, or kind of can touch across to the other side. So it seems like an incredible kind of, it's quite emotional to think about that kind of father-son relationship. And you kind of, I think in life, like having two kids, it's like your main life's goal is to be well remembered by your children. That's like priority number one over anything else.
Yeah.
And then just to think about, geez, if his dad could only see it now, incredible,
Wow, yeah, and I think it's an important one for all of us to hear, in that, because then you go, actually, we're going to go through that. We should probably be nicer to our folks, even if we are nice to them. Always be nicer.
No, absolutely.
I think that's what this album has done. I think for a lot of people is it's helped them, actually, because like a lot of time father-son relationship, yes, like you tight, but like especially like the older traditional sense, you got your dad and you got the son, and it's still that boys don't cry, this don't get emotional type of thing. I think did you listen to his interview with Big Jim?
Big Jim
Show?
I was just going to say it.
Jim Hamilton.
That's the only one I listened to all the way through. The others I skimmed. Unbelievable. I'll let you applause that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tell you a small bit about the start. So, Jim Hamilton, he's like a 6'8" rugby player. Played for Scotland, played for the Lions.
Okay.
Like big personality, hell of a rugby player.
Played for DHS Old Boys.
Did it?
Yeah.
Bastards.
Anyway, sorry, Dev.
No,
carry
not
on.
At all. But yeah, and like he does a lot of these podcasts and shows with rugby players, and I think that this is the first time he had interviewed an artist, was someone that he looked up to and he loved listening to, and he said like for him it was a great honor. And he said the album resonated with him so much. He hadn't spoken to his dad in 10 years, and he actually reached out to his dad after listening to that album. As the dad didn't get back to him, which is
well, not yet. We haven't heard yet.
Well, not yet. Maybe he has since.
But yeah, to get a 6'8" rugby player to take the first step and rekindling the relationship with his dad based on this album. And he said it was solely from listening to your album. I took the first step and I texted my dad after 10 years. And where he'd heard the album from, Dev? Who'd referred
was it Arceus Snowman?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What
sang a song about
even bigger.
Yeah.
And how old is Big Jim?
2-3 years younger than us. He's 43.
Okay.
So around it.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the one thing I was wondering about, was like, does it resonate with us because we're exactly the same age and we've got the same reference points? But it seems to be resonating with all age groups. He's caught the essence and the spirit of the thing, that even if you weren't there in 1994, you can understand those feelings and appreciate those feelings.
Yeah, that's only the one song. Obviously, some of the sound comes from that era.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just that song that references that era directly.
Specifically.
Yeah.
But even for me, I'm okay. Well, what am I? It's 10 years younger than you guys. Sorry, not sure that in.
No, that's cool.
but so the first time I heard 1994, Year to Remember, like even though I was only 6 at the time, there's still a lot of references there that I can resonate with, that I get, that I understand. Like I felt like someone's finally singing about my youth, me growing up. It's really cool. Like when your parents listen to
Summer of 69
or Led Zeppelin or Summer of 69 or whatever it is, and they can tie so much back to that time when they're singing about it. It's like I can do that with this.
Yeah. And like that song again, especially because we're the same age. That was the year of my first girlfriend, first kiss. So that song is like, dude, did we just become best friends? Like a no fear sweater.
When you're singing about that, I'm like, yes, I had that.
Well, imagine how excited I was about the Camry.
The Camry was great as well. But that song has that one beautiful line, which was, hands held, 2 hearts falling on a hardwood floor. Just
Yeah,
like
with the roller derby type thing.
yeah, I love the whole song, but just that one line is just, it paints the picture beautifully.
No, he's a poet, man. He's a poet. He's like a Christopherson.
Lots of Christopherson
although,
similarities.
yeah. Although the
Yeah.
voice is obviously better than Christopherson, with all due respect to
Yeah.
Chris. But yeah, what was the other link, Thors? You remember the other link?
Well, there's two of them. He started off wanting to write songs for other people. Never saw himself as being
Yeah.
the singer.
Yeah.
And then the boxing. You know, you can't get
Of
away
course, the Golden Gloves.
Yeah, but I think probably a bit more of a serious boxer than Christopherson, in some ways. You know.
Yeah.
Starting at the age of 7. I mean, that's a hell of an upbringing and discipline to learn.
No, amazing.
You can hear how he chats with George Foreman's son. He knows what he's talking about, you know. Like very technical about it, and I mean, there's a couple things he said in that interview. Thought the one was talking about how like our fathers, like first you idolize them, and you demonize them, and humanize them.
Yes.
And I thought that was so profound.
Yeah, and so true.
The way he talks about that, yeah. As a kid, he's your hero. You idolize him. As you're a teenager, you know this like doesn't know what he's talking about. I know better. And then like you get older and you realize he's another guy who's been looked after me and loved me and trying to do the best that he can.
And he's also first time doing this.
Yeah,
well, depending on it.
That was a really good insight.
Yeah, I think his parents got married. It was like a shotgun wedding at 18. You know, probably definitely weren't ready to have a kid.
Because Dad was young as well. His dad was young, looking after the two of them. What did he say? Like dad was 24, trying to start a boxing career.
Well, he said he was 19 when he had him.
Yeah, and then 2 sons and a daughter, possibly. Yeah, because when he was quite old, he was already up and about and walking when his dad was 24. You know, he wasn't a baby.
No.
Yeah, different life.
And then yeah, very different. The one other thing he said in that interview with George Foreman III that stuck with me was he said that every boxer he's ever met is fighting more than just the person they're in. They're all fighting other battles. And I think that's helped to shape so much of his resilience and the way he, you know, that kind of describes his life and puts it into music. He's really built up that resilience from what he's been through.
Yeah, and like he says, he was a quiet kid, and like he didn't kind of fit in because his dad was big, larger than life, was a sportsman, and he was a quiet he calls himself a quiet, nerdy kid. And like that's one of the reasons why his dad got him to box, was to be able to expose him to that stuff so he could grow the character, you know, despite being quiet.
But again, it's you shut up.
But again, maybe that's like, you know, we were talking about writers have to observe, you know, writers have to watch life and observe. And again, and he says that as well, that, you know, he was quiet, but he's always watched, and that's how he can spot bullshit or he can spot the truth. But just because he's quiet doesn't mean things aren't happening there.
And he just says he gets huge amount of inspiration from the gym, you know, watching in the gym different people having their different lives and imagining their battles, and just pounding the bag and watching other people.
That's very cool.
One of the other things he said as well was that he doesn't think his dad was just, you know, because he was his coach, he was training. He said his dad wasn't teaching him how to fight; he was teaching him how to take pressure, which I loved as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he's kind of fatalistic, isn't he? I'm looking at my notes here. Literally in the first line I wrote down, the first time I listened to it, like fatalistic in some respects, but I then sort of went through that and thought, maybe not. But then listening to his interview, and he says, like, sadness is around me all the time, and I don't see it going away. I heard that was in the Big Jim interview, and he just said he writes from sadness, and he said, I don't see it going away, which is, I mean, it's not great, but that's life, I guess. It is around all of us. People
But that then resonates nicely with the song "Grief Is Only Love." which then kind of
Yeah.
it takes that sadness, and like grief is only love that's got nowhere to go, which kind of
Yeah.
is such a
Great
beautiful
lyric.
such a beautiful sentiment around grief.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
hold
beautiful.
it, don't run away from the grief, own it. And he's got
Yeah.
that like line about that kind of pain you don't want to lose in that song about
Yes.
losing his dad. And it's
Yes,
just about he wants to
absolutely.
keep the grief because the grief is his love and the grief is keeping him alive. So there's a kind of a lot of quiet wisdom there, which is really, really cool.
No, he's almost like a sage, isn't he? He's quiet and speaks gently and
But there is that fatalism. So like coming to Our Lady of Guadeloupe.
Yeah.
Is that, so I don't know where in the story, because so the one interview I saw, he spoke about Guadeloupe specifically and some other things that happened.
okay.
But the one thing around the Lady of Guadeloupe is that because he was brought up in like a Pentecostal faith, which is like American hardcore Appalachian snake charming Christianity, with
Demons
speaking
out.
in tongues. Yeah, so it's like a really, really hardcore, not hardcore, but an extreme form of Christianity. And then also being a scientist, he's balancing kind of faith and objective views of the world. And he says somewhere that the iconography around the Lady of Guadeloupe is about how does he phrase it? It's about being open to believe in things that you can't understand.
Okay.
And that's in part what it means for him, that there's things there that you don't need to understand, but you can embrace, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I need to go. I couldn't find that interview again to get the rest of that story, but I couldn't find it anywhere else.
What happened with the Lady of, is it Guadeloupe or Guadalupe or what?
Yes.
Did Mary appear to?
Yeah. So the story is there's lots of
and Lords and same sort of vibe as those.
Yeah. So there's some links here to Paddington and others. So in 1531 in Mexico. So this is kind of Spanish conquest time. The Virgin Mary appeared to Saint Juan Diego, who at the time wasn't a saint. He was just a poor indigenous man, and she appeared as a mixed race Spaniard and indigenous person. So she was like in the embodiment of this new culture that was happening. And I think he told the bishop didn't believe him, but then she appeared again, and she instructed him to go. And I think it was the middle of winter, Dev. You can jump in and correct me. But she instructed him to go to the mountaintop and collect Castilian roses. And it's like, there's no ways in the middle of winter in Mexico I'm going to find Castilian roses. Anyway, he finds a field full of Castilian roses. He takes off his traditional Mesoamerican or Mexican cloak, puts all the roses in and brings them back to town. And when he empties them out of his cloak, the roses inside the cloak have created the image of the Virgin Mary. So you've got this cloak, which is the Virgin Mary's image, but it's surrounded and on a backdrop of Mesoamerican indigenous art and patterns and all of those things, which is why you've got all the roses around a Virgin Mary, but with like other kind of Middle American symbols around it, which is kind of cool.
Awesome. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those Mary's appearances are always hell of interesting.
And apparently this cloak, so it's called a tilma, this kind of traditional cloak. It's made out of, I think, cactus fiber, but I think it's still around. Apparently, it's still around as a relic, and it's been around since the 1500s. So what's that, 500 years? And it's never faded. It survived a bomb blast in the city or the town.
Like the Shroud of Turin type thing.
Yeah, it's something like that. Did I miss anything there, Dev?
No, I think you're pretty much spot on.
Okay, cool.
Just so that our listeners are aware that the Lady of Guadalupe appears on Stephen Wilson Jr.'s cap that he wears at almost every show. Just in case you were wondering why we were talking about it.
Yeah, and he has a picture of her on his guitar sometimes, and sometimes when he performs, there's big red Castilian roses on stage. So it's very much like a symbol. Yeah. It's like us with our Humboldt squid and our other things that we attach our kind of meaning to. He attaches
Green Day with a hand grenade.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what else happened in 1531? Small rabbit holes here.
The first Camry was produced.
No, so old
The
Francisco
10,000th Camry.
Francisco Pizarro started his conquest of Peru. So that goes back to Paddington and some of the backstory in Paddington. Very interesting. And then not the Spaniards, but the Portuguese. It's the first recorded European mention of the Great Zimbabwe ruins by Portuguese explorers in Africa in 1531.
Okay.
So that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
So it doesn't link to anything else besides the fact that you're a Rhodesian, which is enough of a reason for me.
Wasn't Black Mamba Man born in 1531?
Could have been. Could have been. Snakes live a long time. And then just a completely random fact, but it just is macabre and it fascinates me. English law passed a new act called the Poisoning Act, and it was to punish. It was to kind of stop people poisoning noblemen or using poison as an assassination technique. And the idea was, if we make the punishment,
can you go with assassination one more time, please?
As an assassination technique, you're a bastard. As an assassination technique, and to deter people was to make the punishment as gruesome as possible. So the law was like, right, if you're convicted of poisoning someone, you'll be boiled to death in water or tar, which is, I mean, that's brutal. But yeah, it kind of caught my eye as other notable things that happened in 1531. Nothing to do with anything else we've spoken about. But.
No, wonderful. I love that. Did anybody pick up one more link to? Sorry, Dev, go for it.
No, go, Dev.
Did anyone pick up a link to Rocky Horror?
No.
Very tenuous as always with the way I like them. The one song is American Gothic, which is a cool song.
Ah, yes, of course, the opening scene.
And the painting American Gothics in the opening scene of Rocky Horror.
Nice.
Very nice.
The one other cool story that Dev, you would have heard it on the Big Jim interview, was about the inheritance from his dad. Did you read that one, Thors, or hear that?
I heard it on another interview.
Yeah, pretty cool. What he woke up at 3:33 in the morning, and wrote the poem "The Devil," and then inherited $3,333.33.
So obviously,
right.
like a $10,000 life policy split between three siblings. Yeah, so the perfect three. And he recorded his first to use that to pay for the recording of his first three songs, which then
the first two, was it, or The Devil and 1994.
And then those ones paid for the rest.
Might have been three songs. Yeah, might have been a perfect symmetry. Cool little story.
How's the lyrics from The Devil as well, eh? Jeez.
Yeah, again,
they're both the devil.
Yeah.
What do you say? The rich will beat you down, steal your money until you raise your voices. One will raise as louder than the others. They'll call himself a rebel. They're still both the devil.
Yeah.
So
very
cool.
Very, very,
very. I'm gonna wait.
Important.
I've set my alarm for 3:33 this morning just to see what I can churn out.
It's not a bad call. But,
not a bad call at all.
Speaking of song lyrics and churning things out, can I also just touch on I'm a Song, because that to me is, I mean, the first time I heard that I was blown away. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've been drunk at night. Well, I'm not pretty sure. I'm sure I've been having drinks, listening to that song, and I've cried during that song. It is so beautiful to me. I've heard people explain music or talk about songs and that, and you read about Jack Kerouac describe jazz and On the Road, and it's it's beautiful and it's brilliant. You hear about Keith Richards describing playing guitar and licks and hooks and all this, and it's so technically flippin' brilliant. But I've never heard anybody explain what a song is the way this oak explains what a song is.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
That's just incredible.
Do you want some woohoo?
Yes.
Which is where I was going with Lady Guadeloupe. So I'm not sure if Our Lady of Guadeloupe preceded this or was the same time or came after, but in the interview that I lost and I can't find again, he was speaking about Our Lady of Guadeloupe. And he was also speaking about, just after his father died, when he was released from the shadow and the person that he was, he has this refrain. when his father died, he stepped out from the shadow, and the person he was before also died, and he was reborn. But he says that he saw things in the sky that he can't explain. And he says,
Okay.
I'm not saying they were UFOs, but I saw things in the sky that I can't explain, which links back to the sense of you don't need to understand something to believe in it, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. So in that music video, Cuckoo, he also like there's small little Easter eggs and all nods to aliens and UFOs and wolf heads and like the whole.
Yeah, I've seen a few like little sneaky UFOs in some of the artwork, and I even think on his guitar, he's got the masking tape with the houses drawn. It looks like there's a gray's face or something on it as well, which is interesting. So he sounds like an interesting cat.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. But
Another
do
man
you know
to walk the
where
mountains
he?
with.
Yeah. Do you know where he got that? Where he first got the Lady Guadalupe cap from?
No.
His wife picked it up at a gas station because she liked it, and then he ended up wearing it because he thought it was cool. No, his first wife, I think.
His first wife. Okay.
Okay, and then he looked into the symbolism thereafter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm so stoked you guys enjoyed it.